lose control with the children. I never had it to start with, so that makes me feel better.
I think she had it all under control.
You children really gave me a run for my money this morning. Thank you.
That's our life every day.
So a part of today when we go into our prayer time is to remember our parents who have these beautiful children, because now as it just was reminded to us, this is their life every day. Robert Reich, former Secretary of Labor under the past President Bill Clinton, and current Chancellor's Professor of Public Policy at Berkeley, in a documentary titled Inequality for All, spoke on the impact of the widening gap of wealth in our country and what the effects have on democracy. And I don't know if any of you have seen this film, but if you have not, I would urge you to go on YouTube and find it and watch it. It's very informative. The film explains in layperson's language the correlations between the crash of 1929 and the Great Recession of 2008, the effects on social behavior, and the eventual realignment of balance through social change. Now, in this documentary, Robert Riker shared a very personal story that he says changed his whole life forever. As a boy growing up, he was a very short child, and the bigger boys would often pick on him. Then one day, Robert realized that if he could make alliances with some of the older, bigger boys in school and have them as his friend, his chances of being beat up on became much less. So he aligned himself with some of these older upperclassmen as a way of protecting his own physical self. Well, then one summer, and that seemed to work really well for him. He got beat up very few times after that. But then one summer, when he was 10 years old, one of his older protectors had gone up to Mississippi to help sign up African Americans to vote. This friend was one of 3 people who were tortured and murdered in the summer of 1964. And if you're old enough to remember that story, you'll know what I'm talking about. Robert realized at that point he needed to dedicate his life at trying to help protect those who had no voice from bullies in our world. In that story, my mind was immediately recalling stories and actions of another man who fought against bullies in his world, the man known as Jesus of Nazareth. It isn't very often that you will see me dealing out of the book of Revelation, but I was struck by these words in today's text in relationship to Reich's story. And these words in particular were, "Then one of the elders asked me, 'These in white robes, who are they? And where did they come from?' And he said, 'These are they who have come out of great tribulation.'" We come to this table this morning, our communion table, because of a man who fought against bullies of his day and also was murdered. This morning, as we remember Jesus and his call to help build and reshape the kingdom of God here on earth through the bread and the wine, we also remember those people who have gone before us, remembering those heroes, really, who we not only looked up to, but received those foundational instructions in which we have built our lives upon. We call them saints, not because they were perfect, but because of the profound influence that these people have had in our lives. Our mothers and our fathers, uncles, Sunday school teachers, maybe even teachers at school or personal friends like Robert had. The writer of Revelation goes on and provides an assurance for us about these saints. And he who sits on the throne will shelter them with his presence. Never again will they hunger, never again will they thirst. The sun will not beat down on them, nor any scorching heat. For the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will lead them to springs of living water, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. The author is giving us assurance in what we can expect after we leave this temporal life that physically separates us from the ones who love us. We come to our communion table this morning because we believe in a man who spoke truths about that kingdom of God and what it was like and should be like. We come to this table because we believe in a man who showed us how we are to live the kingdom existence. And we come to this table because we believe in a man who lived out his passion toward equality, of justice, and about all mercy for all people. We come to this table to remember the life and teachings of Jesus and of his courage to stand up against those that he felt stood above God, and of God's desire that we live in a world where everyone has the basic needs of life met, and that each person is not just black or white or brown or yellow, gay or straight or transgender or Christian or Muslim or Hindu or short, tall, thin, fat, rich or poor, but that each person is related and connected in a true and real relationship of care, of concern, and of love for one another. For we all are children of God. The author of 1 John reminds us by saying, "Dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when Christ appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is." What an amazing way of starting this out, with the salutation of "dear friends." That already tells us where we are at, that we are included. When we come to the communion table, we are saying that we believe we believe what Jesus has told us. As we remember those saints who have helped shape a part of who we understand ourselves to be, we also have the assurance that they are still, and we are still being shaped into what God wishes us to be. And what is that? I believe it to be the family of God.